DLC is confirmed for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but will we see an expansion of the Kalos region? Hey everyone, it's Dusty Gogo. Welcome back to my headcanon. Highly credible leakers have confirmed that DLC will come in 2023, but we still don't really know what's going to be in these editions. I've been having a lot of conversations about Kalos, about Scarlet and Violet DLC with my friends. Personally, I want to see additional locations to traverse and new Pokemon to discover. In 2 to 4 DLC packs, I believe we will see an expansion of the Area Zero storyline, some new islands to visit that are based on real-world Spanish, Portuguese, and French islands, and the exploration of this northeastern area that is visible, but currently shrouded in mystery. This area is likely Kalos related, but not necessarily the Kalos we know from the Generation 6 titles X and Y. So if you take a look at the Paldean map, there are 2 areas that are very clearly and purposefully blurred. I think these are clear hints at which areas will be the focus of the DLC in 2023. The first blurred location is Area Zero, and obviously we explore this in the post-game of Scarlet and Violet. I think it would be pretty cool if we could explore this area even further, or maybe from an altered perspective, an altered timeline. I would love to see our character go back to Area Zero, enter the time machine, and experience Area Zero from either the future or the past, depending on your version. Let's continue this plotline now. I want to meet real life Sada or Turo. Maybe learn more about the scientist Heath, and maybe discover more Paradox Pokemon that didn't make their way to modern Paldea. And that other blurred area in the northeast, geographically speaking, that is Southern Kalos. Even if it goes by a different name than Kalos, I still think it's ripe for so much additional backstory to the Pokemon titles X and Y, but also these games in Generation 9, Scarlet and Violet. Paldea and Kalos share a geographical border. I think it's undeniable that they also have a shared history. Here's a conversation I had with the Lumios post on our new podcast, Hidden Power, how like Area Zero, the acronym for that would be AZ, right? And then you got AZ Floette.
Another thing too is Area Zero, you know, Ground Zero is what they call, like, you know, the places where like the, you know, big dropped, or like where the World Center fell and stuff. So calling this Area Zero, you know, so similar to like the term Ground Zero, kind of just, I don't know, it almost gives the vibe like something terrible happened here. You know,
the common theory right now, which I think is starting to make more and more sense. If it wasn't called Area Zero, right, I think I'd be like, okay, maybe there's no connection. But the fact that the name aligns so perfectly with the guy named AZ, right, and AZ's Floette, right,
well,
and which is literally the main part of the plot of X and Y.
No, look up the
great
ultimate
weapon
too.
Yeah, the ultimate
picture
weapon
of it, and it looks just like the crystals that grow. But
yeah, right here
it looks just like the crystals that are in the cave in Area Zero.
Yeah, so right here, 100% I'm seeing that. So basically this massive weapon went off because of Team Flare. Actually, no, so Team Flare sent it off a second time, right? It happened once.
Yeah, but it just came back down on themselves.
So Team Flare failed. Okay, but it originally had happened 3,000 years ago, right? Yep. Okay. Yeah. So
I will
essentially this is Ground Zero for where this, you know, for where this attack or this great weapon landed. The impact of the weapon hit the center of Paldea, and that would make total sense because Paldea is right next to Kalos, just like France is right next to Spain. Paldea is based on Spain. Kalos is based on France. Do the math.
And they did a lot of wars, like in real life. France and Spain had a ton of wars.
Yeah.
I will say I need to double check on this. Someone told me in my comment section that it says that the crater's actually been around for 1,000,000 years. So
okay,
that
so maybe it just existed.
The ultimate weapon causing it, but
not necessarily.
Well, the thing is that so they call the crater the Great Crater of Paldea. Area Zero they call Area Zero. Who's to say the ultimate weapon didn't strike the crater a second time, creating the crystal stuff in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or I guess, do we have confirmation of where the original ultimate weapon went off? Is it in the same location where Team Flare tried to launch it again?
That is, yeah, it's where they launched it, where Team Flare launched it.
Okay, so that's cool. I think what DLC could do is really continue to expand on this, right? I mean, a lot of the comments that I have right now are like, oh, we don't need DLC. We just need to like fix the game. DLC's coming, whether you want it or not. It is happening, and I really think
they are fixing the game.
Yeah, and also like there's a section, there's 2 sections of the in-game map of Paldea that are blurred out. One of them is Area 0. The second one is literally that connecting area, that connecting land that would connect Paldea to Kalos. This is either southern Kalos, or this is going to be a new area that's not Kalos, that's based on, what is it, Andorra? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, or even just the Pyrenees Mountains that
sure
border France and Spain. I mean, they could just kind of take that whole ridge and do it there. I mean, you figure Galar was supposed to be like the UK, but it was really Britain, and they added in Scotland with the Crown Tundra.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff that points to some kind of Kalos ties with the postgame. For one, we know that once home compatibility opens up, the Kalos starters will be available. And something to note about that is that with Sword and Shield, the Lola starters were available with home compatibility.
Yeah.
And then in DLC, they were made available by doing like the Alolan Diglett quest in Isle of Armor.
That's a good
Another
point.
thing, too, is that the Swords of Justice were available in home compatibility, and then they got their own side plot in Crown Tundra. I almost said Isle of Armor, but it was in Crown Tundra. Now, the interesting thing is, and I think this is mind-blowing, so Diancie is in the coding for home. Like, it'll be available when home compatibility comes out.
Oh!
So, interestingly enough, Carbink is in there. Carbink is not in the Paldea Dex, but it will be available once home comes out.
Oh, yeah, can I pause and predict what you're about to say?
Yeah, go.
Either you're going to say Diancie is a paradox of Carbink, or you're going to say... Okay, that's your... Okay.
It wasn't what I was going to say, but it is.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. All right, what are you going to say?
I was just going to say, I think that they're going to do something with Diancie in the DLC, because... the fact is, we know it's tied to Carbink, and like if Carbink was in the Dex of Paldea, and I wouldn't think twice about it, but it's the fact that they coded it into the game, so Carbink will be available when home comes out, but they didn't put it in the Dex. So like it is only available when home comes out. The only other Pokemon that have this kind of role are the Hisuian evolutions, any regional forms, starters, or legendaries, and Carbink. It's kind of the odd man out, you know?
Bro, okay, so now I'm thinking about... Remember, so way back in Gen 6, right, there was the whole Carbink Diancie thing. So, but then they gave us another mythical Pokemon called Magearna, right? Which was like kind of hideous. It's just this like weird Pokemon that looks kind of like Diancie, but like it's not Diancie. And now I'm thinking, not even that they have to be related, but like obviously Diancie would be like a more primal version of Carbink. But then you look at Magearna, and it's literally an automaton. It's like it's one of these future Pokemon where they're mechanical in nature. They're like, they might not even be like, I mean, they're sentient, but they're not organic.
It's actually really interesting because Magearna is said to be an old robot. Like it's kind of ancient. Now, there's another ancient robot that we know about and that is Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle's Dex entry actually talks about how it is a robot from a civilization long lost to us. So Iron Bundle, despite being a future Pokemon, is actually a past Pokemon in a way.
Bro, let's go. That is so cool.
Like I said, they really gave Delibird some love. And Christmas time too, you know? Yeah. So you got the whole Santa thing going.
That's really cool. And that's really cool. Because a lot of these other Pokemon look, a lot of these other future Paradox look super technological. That, like you said, they look like they're out of a sci-fi movie. I feel like Iron Bundle looks like Magearna in the way where it's like looks more mechanical rather than
looks more like a toy robot than it does like an actual like sci-fi robot.
This is what Magearna is. It's like this weird old. It really is. It's got like a gear. Its crown is a gear, right? And it just kind of like folds up into this thing that looks like a Pokeball, which is also kind of interesting.
It's an ancient Clink, like a paradox of Clink. You know,
that's cool.
Gear.
That's really cool. Yeah, so that's a total side theory. What do you want to see most in a DLC? Because I think we're definitely going to get some new locations to check out. I don't know how much of this lore is going to be like laid out for us. I think we might find some stuff. Like I could see them like adding new classes, right? They could be like...
the thing with Pokemon is they're either going to give us a really, really heavy lore thing where everything is laid out for us, or they're going to give us nothing where we just will have to make another theory video on it. I most want in DLC, and I am ready for the pitchforks and the fire torches, whatever. I want Megas. Bring back Megas.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
People say that they would be broken in this competitive game. I disagree because
that makes no sense, dude. They don't care about whether something's broken or not.
Right.
Dude, the amount of times I hear people say like, "Oh, they're never gonna like give this an evolution because it'll have Eviolite and then I'll be busted," or none of that matters. The Pokemon Company always says that they're gonna like try to like make a fair metagame, and then they end up just allowing all of the legendary Pokemon. Like they don't care. It's not. It's. They do not care.
Yeah. To the people who say that's like gonna break the competitive field, I would like you to go back and watch every single world, and you tell me how many Landorus Therians you've counted.
Dude, it's so silly, dude. It's so silly.
I mean, just look at the last worlds and count how many teams had a Zacian or a Kyogre on it, or both. But
and that aside, what a fun fetch quest that would also be, to go on all these little missions to collect, because that was something you did in Kalos. Like the Mega Stones were scattered throughout the region. And guess what? This is an open world Pokemon game. And also, now you don't have Z moves, you don't have Dynamax. All you have is the Terralization, right? You have these raids. They can also add Megas. I don't see why that's a problem.
And also, like, so the Anastar City Sundial, there's a girl in front of it who talks about there's a Moon Dial too. So it'd be perfect to have a Moon Dial that helps you find the Mega Stones this time around in DLC. Another thing too that makes you not have to worry about the whole competitive side of things is I highly doubt that like I'd be able to Mega Evolve my Lucario and then Terra it. It probably,
that's what I was thinking about.
Giving my Lucario a Mega Stone would, like, instead of the little Terrastal button in the battle UI, it would replace that with Mega Evolve.
Just you have an option. That's what it is.
Right. Imagine you could still do one of each per battle. Like, I could Mega Evolve my Lucario, and then when it falls, throw out my Staraptor and Terrastalize it. But, you know, it really, that wouldn't be an issue. And my thing is, Pokemon has made sure to not let Mega Evolution die. You know what I mean? They've done it in Masters. They've done it in Go. You know, while it was absent from the mainline games, they reference Mega Salamence in this game. In the anime, Ash just got his first Mega Evolution. You know,
seriously. Okay,
so I mean, he fought a Mega Evolution too. Like there was tons of focus for it.
Tell me if I'm crazy, right? We're always talking about what's the next remake gonna be, what's the next game gonna be. I feel like the obvious answer is Unova. Then the other obvious, the unexpected obvious answer or wild card answer is Johto remake, right? Now I'm just sitting here thinking we can only ask for so much in DLC for Generation 9 DLC for Scarlet and Violet, right? We can only ask for so much. It's totally possible. It's not likely, but it is possible. I can just see it, man. Pokemon Day 2024, we're all expecting Let's Go Johto, whatever, right? Legends Unova, we're all expecting what we think is gonna happen, and then they show us Pokemon Z, and they go, imagine an open world Kalos game. You're gonna have that. This is the remake you're getting, and it's all gonna tie into Paldea.
It makes sense too, because it never got its second version, third version. You know, I mean, so it is, even though it is not next in line, it is. Do it, you know what I mean?
I don't think they care about that anymore. It's not next in line
because it got skipped.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel, and every time we want to expect something. I mean, dude, do you remember, like, your emotion when you first saw the close up of Chibi Dawn? That was a meme, dude, for like all year. Like, it was ridiculous. The fact that ends up being a reality, that we got.
It was so traumatic for me. I actually had erased that from my mind. So thank you for bringing those memories back to light.
And dude, and then also then we all go, oh, it's actually gonna happen. We're gonna get a Let's Go Sinnoh or something. And then they go after the upset of the reveal of BDSP. Then they show us Legends Arceus, and all of a sudden our hearts are at ease, and we're getting 2 games, and this one's in the past. Like, that kind of, like, magic. I can, for whatever reason right now, I'm just literally, I can see myself in a year and a half from now where they show us, they show us the reveal trailer of a Pokemon Z version. I don't know if I'm probably crazy, but but I don't even think that sounds that ridiculous.
I could totally see that.
There's too much parallel. There's too much crossover. I think there's answers that need to be solved. It could be a sequel.
Not letting myself think it because you know, I'm Lumiose Post. Kalos is my favorite region. So
I'm Dusty Go-Go. Kalos is not my favorite, but it's a good region.
But I know if I start going Kalos is next, I'll just be disappointed. So I'm going to sit here and keep thinking Johto and Unova, but I will gladly welcome a Kalos region.
If you're still listening, consider subscribing to our new podcast. It's me, Soul Silver Art, and the Lumiose Post. We upload at least once a week. If you like this channel, I swear you're gonna like the podcast. It's essentially just what I do on this show, but for an hour long. Right below this video, there's gonna be a link that'll bring you over to the podcast. You can check out a couple episodes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you. Peace.